So if you're one of those people who are curious to know what you should set your earnest money deposit amount to be, then guess what? You found the right video. Hey Daniel, cue an intro please. Hey, first and foremost, if you're new to this channel, we want to thank you for finding this video and this channel. And on this channel, we typically like to discuss the 3 pillars to financial freedom, which are personal finance, investment capital, or funding in other words, as well as real estate investing. We like to focus our attention when it comes to real estate on multi-units and multi-family properties. So if you're new, just make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, the notification bell, just to make sure that you receive additional videos to help you along your journey towards becoming financially free. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic. So, earnest money deposit. So congrats if you happen to find a sweet multi-unit deal, because on this video, we're going to focus on multi-units for investment property, for investment purposes, I should say. Now, let's say earnest money deposit, right? You might be unfamiliar with what that means. Earnest money deposit is pretty much your good faith that you want to buy this property by putting down a slight deposit. So the earnest money deposit does go towards your down payment when you're about to close on the property, okay? Now, I have a member in our community, he's actually a client of ours, and he's actually entertaining a 10-unit in Macon, Georgia, right? So great job on that. Now, he happened to have a listing agent. A listing agent is a person who lists the property with the seller. So they represent the seller, okay? Now, this agent is being somewhat of a dual agent because they're representing the seller as well as the buyer or client, right? So it came to a point where this listing agent wanted to provide our client with a purchase and sale agreement, a contract in other words. And upon careful review of us reviewing the contract, we happen to see a few things. So I just want to give you some pointers in regard to what you should look at as well as determine the amount for the earnest money deposit, okay? So going back to the scenario, the listing agent put into the contract that the earnest money deposit will be upwards of $3,000, right? And the way that she calculated this was by taking 1% of the purchase price. So if the purchase price, let's say, just making a scenario, if you're buying a 10 unit for $400,000, if you follow that model of 1% should be the earnest money deposit, then that comes out to $4,000. So that's common practice in the industry. However, what we teach our clients or students in the community, we teach them to set their earnest money deposit at $2,000 max. Why? Because let's say, God forbid, something goes wrong with the deal under the due diligence period. Now, let's say something went wrong that was an error on your behalf. You know, of course, we try to dot our I's, cross our T's, follow the right process to prevent any issues from our behalf. But let's say worst case scenario, we drop the ball some kind of way. I would rather you forfeit $2,000 earning money deposit than $4,000 earning money deposit. Okay, so that's one of the key things. Now, the agents might try to sell you on this. Oh, it's energy stranded. And yes, it's industry standard. Yes, it's industry standard. However, we do want to be able to negotiate, because when you're buying a property, everything's negotiable, and you can negotiate with the seller to reduce their earnest money deposit. So I don't care if it's a duplex or in this case a 10 unit. Always try to negotiate the lowest earnest money deposit amount as possible, but not so low that it kills your deal. All right, so if you happen to be in a situation like that, make sure you negotiate higher. And this is the reason why. Agents may want 1% of the purchase price or higher. For one, if the deal falls through and they still get paid through that earnest money deposit, that's more money they'll receive, okay? As well as from the seller or whoever's due that earnest money deposit if it was at your fault or if it was your fault for not moving forward with the deal. So it's extremely important that you follow the process step by step. And here's another tip I want to share with you. This other tip is when you're negotiating the earnest money deposit, make sure it's being deposited by a settlement company that represents you. So of course, a settlement company represents both the seller and the buyer, but you want to work with a team that you're familiar with working with, that you have an experienced track record with. Now, if you're just getting started and you're getting new, then of course you want to vet a new settlement company out. A settlement company is pretty much a company that helps with the closing process. In other states, some people use real estate attorneys, settlement companies. They pretty much help you through closing. But you want to be able to select one that you like, to your liking. So that way, when you send that earnest money deposit, it goes to that attorney. So I highly recommend do not send in that earnest money deposit to the agent or to a settlement company that the agent recommends. So those are pretty much my 3 main tips. First tip, keep the earnest money deposit low. Let's say $2,000 max if possible. Second tip, when negotiating the earnest money deposit, make sure that you send the check over to your settlement company that you select. And the third tip, just remember, everything's negotiable, but don't negotiate to the point it kills the deal. Now, if you have to compromise and do the industry standard and it's still a sweet deal, then by all means move forward, but just try to negotiate as much as possible. All right guys, so that was just some quick tips. A very short and sweet video, but what I do want you to do, if you're interested in learning more about the step-by-step process, how to invest in multi-units, whether you have the capital or not, or whether you want to buy this in your backyard or out of state, we have a free training for you. So all you have to do is just check the link below in the description to learn more. As always guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.